going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best 15 brawlers in the game right now. Balance changes just dropped yesterday, and there's been a lot of changes in the meta. A lot of the really good brawlers in the game got big nerfs or big hypercharge nerfs. Of course, hypercharge has got nerfed itself as well, so there's a lot changing. I will say the meta does look good for now. I've spoke to quite a few people now, especially the pros, and even they're agreeing. Things just seem a lot less chaotic and a lot more like controlled, and that's what you want, right? You don't want these broken hypercharge brawlers just ruining the game. So props to Adrian and the balance team. Really appreciate these balance changes so far, but there's still a few brawlers that are really strong. So let's jump into it then. So before we jump into it, make sure you subscribe to this channel and checking out my daily streams around 4 p.m. UK time. But yeah, let's jump into number 15. I've gone with Otis. So I was actually a bit unsure on who to put around like above the top 15 because again the meta is shifting a lot, and I know it's more of a prediction. I might be wrong with a few of these, but Otis I think is just such a solid brawler. I could have gone with brawlers like Charlie, Trunk, Amber. There's a few other ones that are just these good damage dealers that can chip at a distance. I think Otis is a great brawler since his damage buff is buffed to 1,000, which is really good. He can really shut down still. Like, there's still some good tanks and assassins in the meta, right? Even with all these nerfs. And I think Otis is just that brawler, really consistent, and you can never really go wrong with him on, you know, Brawl and Gem Grab. Now jumping into the 14th best brawler in this meta, I have gone for Max. So this is more, again, like a prediction, because with Max has been like a C tier brawler, bottom C tier brawler for a long time. Never picked in competitive play because of Jae-Young. Well, Jae-Young's got several nerfs. I still think Jae-Young's going to be pretty good, but this buff to Max is insane. 2.2 supers to get a hypercharged super, by the way, is crazy. The pros will be eating this Max buff up like crazy. I'd probably even predict for pros, Max would be one of the most used brawlers. So, and 14th probably is an understatement at this point. So yeah, all about that hypercharge. 2.2 supers is absolutely insane, guys. You know, pair it with a good hypercharge brawler, pair it with a tank, Sandy, anything like that, and be aggressive. You're going to get so much value out of his Max buff. Next up is the 13th best brawler in the game right now. I went with Gus. A little bit boring. Gus definitely is overplayed when I play my ranked games, but he's a consistent brawler. Maybe he falls down a little bit in the meta because brawlers like Bonnie, for example, have got a bit worse. Gus used to be good into Bonnie, but again, I think Gus is just solid. I also think because of a lot of assassins and aggro brawlers in Gem Grab have got nerfed, so might make him a bit more viable in Gem Grab again. Well, he already was, but you know what I mean, just he's a little bit more consistent there. He's good in bounty, good in knockout. He's just solid across the board. Got a good hypercharge as well. It's just nothing really much to hate against Gus. So it's the 12th best brawler in the game right now. I went with Crow. So a brawler that's probably going to go under the radar here because Crow was like a consistent high 8-tier brawler in the last meta. He didn't make any pop-off plays, but you could always just kind of rely on a Crow in certain situations. He started to fall down though as the last meta developed because again it was just purple button galore and he couldn't really deal with it non-stop. But now I think he has in a more controlled meta. Honestly, Crow could be even better than him leading off here because he's good in like as a gem grab, gem carrier. He's good on bushy maps to scout the grass. He's good on heist because of the hypercharge. There's a lot of use cases for Crow, and as long as Jae-Young, Byron, and a few other top of these brawlers are going to be good, then Crow will be good. Kaze, for example, good counter to Kaze, so I really like Crow. Next up is the 11th best brawler in the game right now. I've gone for Ollie, so I actually think Ollie could be a little bit higher than this. I think a lot of people, well, they won't overreact, but they'll just think straight away. They'll see like 2 or 3 heavy nerfs to Ollie, and they'll think that he's just terrible. But I think Ollie before the hypercharge was pretty good. He was like high B tier brawler. He was good on knockout and bounty. And one thing that they haven't nerfed about Ollie, which will make him good until they nerf him, is the all eyes on me gadget. It's the fact that he can defend himself against these assassin brawlers, against these any type of brawler wants to get close to him. He can just pop gadget every 15 seconds. That's a really short cooldown, guys. And his hypercharge is still pretty good. It's not anywhere near as broken as before, but it's still a big radius, and he still keeps all of his ammo. So if you combine his hypercharge with his gadget, it just equals kills. It just does. And I think Ollie is perfect in his meta. Honestly, could easily be a top 10 brawler. Now moving on to your top 10 brawlers in the meta right now, I've gone for Ruffs. So if the meta develops and if hypercharges are really not that great, which again it'll probably take like a good week to really figure this out, then Ruffs will probably just go down because hypercharge, like the big thing about Ruffs, he's good as a standalone brawler. His projectile buff was pretty good, but it was all about farming his hypercharge super and giving it to a broken hypercharge brawler like a Kit, like a Kenji, like an Ollie. And if those hypercharges aren't as broken anymore, he's going to he's going to fall down naturally, but I'm just seeing a lot more Ruffs. I'm still liking going Ruffs myself. He's quite a versatile brawler because on the defensive game modes, you can switch star power to field promotion. I think, no, is it field promotion? I can't remember. The one that heals your team up. I don't know. I can't remember which one it is. But you can be really good in knockout and bounty because of that. And then in other places, you can open up the map. You can also defend yourself against single shot brawlers with stun base. I think he's a very versatile pick in this meta. In LCQ, he was one of the most played brawlers. So yeah, he wasn't nerfed. I think he will still be pretty good in this meta. Next up is the 9th best brawler in the game right now. Might have, again, underrated Lily a little bit here, but top 10, I still think it's good. Lily. So Lily wasn't nerfed to my surprise. So one reason as to why, I think Adrian did suggest in my streams, he's been chilling in my streams, but he's been saying that with Lily, I don't think they had enough time to actually like mechanically change her gadget, which they've been needing to do for literally this entire year. So we know that's on the horizon, so I'm glad for that. But yeah, big reason why they didn't nerf her in any other categories was because of that, but because of the hypercharge nerf as well. Because the stat boost that she got when she hypercharged someone, you literally couldn't kill her. I mean, she's still going to be winning most 1v1s with the hypercharge, but yeah, I still think she's probably creeping towards the top 5, to be honest. That gadget is just so broken. She's really good in heist, gem grab still. Yeah, she's really annoying to deal with. Until they nerf this Vanish gadget, she'll forever be a top 10 brawler. So next up, as the 8th best brawler in the game right now, I've gone for Ash. So Ash was a little bit of a weird one. He received, what was it, like a 3%, 4% health buff, and that, of course, buffed his chill pill gadget healing, so just making him a lot tankier. In stream, everyone was saying he's like the 3rd tankiest brawler in the game right now, which is pretty insane to talk about. I just think Ash is going to be such a solid option in gem grab and Brawl. So the reason why Ash didn't seem the best in the last meta was just because of all these other broken hypercharge brawlers. He's still, as a brawler, was like a solid B tier, high B tier option. He just wasn't being played because there's too many broken Kenjis and whatever else. So now they've all been nerfed and nerfed heavily. Ash was just indirectly going to get better anyway. But now he's got a buff as well on top of that. I think that was a bit too much for me personally. So he's going to be super, super tanky. I've already been watching pro scrims and they're enjoying playing Ash a lot at the moment. Maybe he's even better than I'm leading on, but I think 8 is pretty solid because the thing about Ash, you can only really play him in Brawl and Gem Grab, maybe Hot Zone. So his versatility lets him down, but he's still really solid in those particular game modes. So I'm moving on to the 7th best brawler in the game right now. I've gone with Byron. So Byron, the reason being, it's because his hypercharge super still is pretty good and annoying. It's still pretty fast to charge up. The good thing with Byron, right, he has a super easy projectile main attack to hit, and that means he's cycling supers quicker, he's cycling through to his hypercharge a lot quicker, and I just think that he's pretty noob proof. I think he's very versatile as well, and until, I don't know what nerf it could really do with Byron. Maybe they'll nerf his supercharge rate or something. I think until they do that, he'll still be a top meta brawler. Now he's got a hypercharge, it can defend himself a lot better. Yeah, I think he's an easy top 10, even with a hypercharge rate nerf and hypercharge nerf. He's still a top 10 brawler. Now moving into the 6th best brawler in the meta right now, I've gone with it, Jae Young. So after testing him out a little bit, only a couple of games, I felt like the attack delay that they supposedly nerfed him with, it wasn't really like the biggest nerf in the world. May have nerfed him with his damage gadget though, which again I still feel like is pretty strong, and they buffed his other gadgets. So I think Jae Young's really not moved much in the meta. He's always been one of the most played brawlers in pro play, and even with such a broken hypercharge meta last time around, he was still one of the most played brawlers. So if anything, indirectly, he's going to probably get even better in this meta. He's super versatile. It's really hard to contain a Jae Young, I think, until we're probably like nerf his range or nerf his speed form. It's just crazy how you just can't deal with him. It feels like he has infinite range. Yeah, so Jae Young, easily a top meta brawler. I'm going to be moving on to your top 5 brawlers in the game right now, and this one's probably going to be the most controversial inclusion here, but I've gone with Meeple. So Meeple, hear me out. So Meeple, I didn't put it in my top meta brawlers because, let's just face it, again, a million hypercharge brawlers. You guys would have known this by now, but he was good. I thought every time I played him, he was good. It was just these purple buttons would just make better plays in the long run. So I could sense if the top meta brawlers were going to get nerfed, that Meeple would really skyrocket. So yeah, I think this is where he's at in the meta. I think it's a top 5 brawler in the game. I'm deadly serious, guys. His hypercharge rate is so incredibly fast. His hypercharge is really, really strong, guys. It's just so hard to deal with. He's got very flexible gadgets. He's got really good strategy and like knockout and bounty. You can use the dice gadget and you can pair it with a thrower or a Hank and just delete anyone you want. You're literally, any lack of range, Dice Gadget. If there's a bunch of assassins or tanks or whatever, use Rage Quit. So really versatile in that sense. And if you use a damage style power, we figured this out like a month ago, you can actually recycle your super in 4 shots instead of 5. So you can cycle through supers like crazy. Hypercharge is really easy to get, really easy to hit main attack. I think Meeple is easily, I mean, if you're going to say he's not top 5, he's easily a top 10, guys. Seriously, just try him out a lot more. He's only got a couple of counters like Charlie and Tara. But besides that, I think it's a solid option right now. So next up is the 4th best brawler in the game right now. I've gone with Hank. So Hank didn't receive any nerfs. He just sneaked in, didn't he? My little beautiful boy Hank. He is the top meta brawler again, for sure. He has to be. So even again in LCQ, I feel like people have been underrating Hank a little bit for a while because there's more flashier brawlers and maybe these hypercharge brawlers could feed off him a bit better. But now they've been nerfed, I think he's going to go straight back into the top 5 easily. Like I said, I'm watching LCQ and there's so many strategies with Hank, with Byron, with Jay Young, with other support brawlers. I'm trying to think top of my head. Just there's so many. Gus. There's a lot of Max even in the meta now. There's so many that can just help him. And you think of like the top assassin. You think of like, I don't know, a Lily or a Cordelius. They're not even that good into Hank as well. And there's so many good Hank maps as well. Got a good hypercharge, got good gadgets as well. You're facing off against tanks, use a slow gadget. Everything else, the shield gadget, I think is very strong, easily top 5. Now moving into your top 3 brawlers in the game right now. Starting off at number 3 with Kaze. So Kaze, they did a big hypercharge rate nerf for Kaze, which was great, but they didn't fix the underlying issue with her invisibility gadget. It is far too strong. It is way too strong. You're telling me I have to, like, you can change every 6 seconds. I doubt you're going to spam that green button that much. But I would say on average, every 15 seconds, you're having to think about an invisible Kaze that can just super across the map, that can probably get super again. I think they probably need to change a few things. Maybe her supercharge rate and or the invisibility gadget duration. It's just way too fast. You shouldn't have to worry about someone turning invisible with a click of a button that often. It's just absolutely crazy, guys. And of course, Kaze is just really strong in terms of her her main stats. You've got her fan form that just has unlimited reload speed and unload potential. You can just dash on the map quickly. You think of the amount of damage you can do in ninja form. It's just really hard to stop her, Kaze. It really is. There's hardly any counters to her in this meta. She's still insane. Jumping into your 2nd best brawler in this meta, it has to be Cordelius. So another brawler. I was a bit confused as to why they didn't nerf him. Nowhere near as much. They nerfed his combo shroom star power from 30% to 20% extra damage. That's 1 projectile every shot. That's not really going to do too much. And even so, if it becomes a bad star power, just switch over to the other one. His main attack damage is still far too much. They buffed it, what was it, like 12%, 14%, something crazy in terms of numbers a couple of months ago. And he's still easily going to be one of the best brawlers inside of the game. It doesn't matter what meta it is. He's still just going to absolutely rip through everything as soon as he gets within striking distance. His supercharge rate as well is still far too quick. He's just such a good defensive brawler, but now like an assassin damage dealer. There's just so much going for Cordelius. You can't stop him in this meta. Quite clearly a top 2 brawler in the game. Now we're going to be moving on to the best brawler in the game. I think there's 0 debates here whatsoever. It is still Mina. So again, another brawler. I was a little bit disappointed not receiving harsh enough nerfs. There's only 3 of those brawlers, which is nice, but I think it's quite clear that Mina is still going to be a top meta brawler. It's very clear. So Mina, she got nerfed with a supercharge rate, so it takes like an extra 2, maybe even 3 shots to get your super, but it's still very easy to get your super with Mina. She got nerfed with her gadget cooldowns. She got nerfed in her 3rd attack damage, which, I mean, it still was a lot of damage, but I think the main problem is her health and her super. And now she's got a hypercharge on top of that. The hypercharge seems pretty broken. I've not played enough games against her to really understand just how broken it is yet, because everybody just nerfs her in ranked, but it's quite clear that she's easily the best brawler inside of the game. The hypercharge looks very scary, so you guys will have to let me know just how broken it is, but it looks insane. The way it bounces, the way it just throws people that extra distance. Yeah, there's so much to like about Mina. So versatile, dashing with every single attack, having so much damage, having so much health. They've just made Mina this hybrid brawler. She's not even a damage dealer. Well, she's a damage dealer, she's an assassin, she's a controller with a super. There's a lot of things going for her. Yeah, you guys know just how broken she is, right? So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. So not actually the biggest changes in the meta, because I don't think there's a lot of really bad brawlers that got buffs to put them at the top. I just think that a lot of the meta brawlers just got a little bit worse. Maybe some other brawlers are creeping back up to the meta because of this, but I think this is a great meta so far. I'm liking it. Doesn't feel as chaotic, so hopefully that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys next time.